woman all the time. I got a pretty girl like this only a couple times a week.
So you guys have any questions for Tawdri?
Yeah.
So how do you see, like, because there's still a lot of violence towards trans women. You don't hear it as much with trans men, but definitely trans women. How do you see that changing as well?
I see it changing when there's no stigma attached to being with a transgender person.
Mm-hmm.
That's when, as I said, and it can go either way, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband or your wife can find the picture and say, he's a dude, or she's a man, whatever the case may be. It's that moment because we're not in the place here in the United States where it's comfortable, where it's accepted, where it's like, yeah, who the hell cares, where it's just a third gender. A lot of the rest of the world is there. Most Latin American countries consider transgender people a completely third species. The best of both male and female, and as close to the gods as we can get. It's not just because our hair is usually so big. Yes?
How did you go about picking your stage name?
Tawdri Hipburn. It's kind of funny. Do you know who Tawdri Hipburn is? She's my favorite. And again, I was doing stand-up at the time. So my line is, my sister Audrey stopped swallowing and she's dead. I still swallow. So that's actually how it came up. I loved Tawdri Hipburn. I thought it was hilarious that I'm not thin, I'm not petite, I'm none of the things that she was, and yet I just love her. It's something I grew up watching her movies, and I thought, when I have had other drag names, Tawny, Autumn, and there was a cane, it was either Novocaine or Candy Cane. I think it was Novocaine that I went by 32 years ago for a period about that far, and I don't really, there were so many people dying of AIDS at that time that I thought I don't want to associate myself with a needle. So I just kind of gave it up, yes?
Do you find that there's more, I guess, transphobia amongst like women that you experience,
No.
or is it men?
It's men. And it's not a phobia, as I said, believe me, it's a false phobia.
Yeah.
It's when, and you guys are, all the females and men in this room, I don't care about your gender or your sexuality, but in the animal kingdom, the men generally puff themselves out and get aggressive to war for females or war for a place or war for whatever. And that's often what happens, especially when they're around their females or their ohana, their group, where they feel, oh, this group of people is gonna find out that I like transgender females. I can't have that. So the best way that I can do that is to completely disrespect and throw the transgender person under the bus and make myself look better. And I think it's getting a little bit better because, as I said, if we go back 25 years ago, the crying game, so I think most women or men, if they were to find out that their partner was having sex with a transgender female, would be like, you fucking knew it, come on. The moment you try to reach down to grab her pussy and there's more there, you know.
And you know what? I mean, I hate to have to read too much into it though, but I think that's the reason why that guy might have came after you. Somebody that you knew found out about it.
Sure. Pictures, believe me, come on, we're all adults here, okay? So we had taken all kinds of filthy, dirty pictures between he and I, and they were on my phone and they were on his phone. And oh my Lord, if I tell you at one point or another, I have no idea how my dirty pictures got on my computer. But when it went to sleep, the things that were kind of scrolling, oh my God.
Years, it's going to be hard for somebody else not to find out if you guys,
So here's the thing: is he had gotten with a girl. I knew he was bi, of course, obviously. He had gotten with a girl, a really cute little fat girl from LA. She was so cute. He showed me a picture of her, and I was like, "That's awesome! Good for you." I can't get pregnant, y'all. I am barren, and I swallow, and that's just all that there is to it. So if a man is with me and wants to move on, and wants to create a family, or wants that, I can't stop it. What the hell? You know what I mean? I'm not just a good time girl. I do have feelings and emotions, but I know where to place them appropriately in any given relationship. So he and I were fuck buddies with heart. There was no more to it. But that being said, obviously either drugs and alcohol, with some other stuff associated. Maybe that girly girl found the pictures, but it had been a year and a half since I had seen him. He texted me and said, hey, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I saw him one more time, we fucked like buddies. And then I didn't hear from him for another 6 months. And then I got a text the Saturday before, and it was real weird. It was a cryptic text message. I can't believe, I'm so thankful I remembered your phone number. You're the only girl for me. I now know that you're the one I want to be with. Why aren't you answering me? All the girls have heard this before from their boyfriends where it's like, I love you, fucking bitch. It's like, I didn't do anything, you asshole, I just didn't answer you back.
My phone was dead.
Because I wasn't responding to him. And he said, fuck it, I'm coming over. That was the Saturday before. And I was already in bed. So I don't know if he came by that night and didn't pull the shenanigans. I don't know, there's no way, we now have cameras. But before that, we did not. So I don't know if he had come by that Saturday night while I was sleeping and then decided to come back. Now be mindful, he had been in my house 2 years. So this wasn't just an immediate fuck buddy, it was like, hey, come on over, let me show you everything the first time. After months is when we finally, come on over to the house, I'm tired of fucking in the car, it's getting really old. Tired of leaving my fucking face print on the window. Ugly. Ugly when it looks like a ghost. So he'd been in my house, he'd been in my backyard, we were butt buddies with a little bit more. So he knew quite a bit. Oh, I'm not going to do this. This is the land of hotel rooms. Find me ever again. So that being said, it has affected Tawdri's career a little bit. I'm not the first one to put myself out there anymore. There are other girls who are starving for work in this city. At my age, my home is paid off, my car is paid off. You guys should see my backyard, it's fucking stunning.
It's beautiful.
Why would I need to go out to work all the time? I don't. But there are literally girls in this city, both transgender and drag girls, who work to get a hotel room for the night. They're working hard for their money, like Donna Summer said. And I figure, let them have it. And I work a couple of times a month. Usually I do stand-up comedy a couple of times. I do drag a couple of times. I make all the extra money that I could possibly want. And that's good for me. But since then, I was rocking. I was doing 5 or 6 nights a week out in the clubs. But it's down to less than that. I want it to be over and done with. As I said, we just got notification from yesterday. We got the subpoenas that we have to go on November 13th. And then when we call the number, it says call within 24 hours. The guy said, oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. They're going to offer them their final plea bargain on the 7th. And if either one of them goes for the plea bargain, the 13th is off.
Yeah.
And we start basically the whole thing over. This is 2 years and 2 months later.
It's so exhausting.
Go ahead, my dear.
You said you're in the 60s. You're born in the 60s. Did you ever, like, looking up, I don't know if it would have been over on the California side, but like Marsha B. Johnson or like, because I mean, the 60s, 69 was when
Oh, yeah.
the Pride riot started.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
Did you like, was they kind of like not a role model someone per se, but like someone to like be like, oh, that's something?
You know, the funny thing was, is at the time, as I said, when I first came out, it was, here's a therapist, and here's your first. And so it was sort of washed out of my mind. I think when you're told as a child, even as just a child, this is just a phase, that you accept that, because it's still a doctor, a person in power, it's not your parent saying it, that you're like, oh, that's cool. Trust and believe. There may be 1% of the people that hear that actually are gone through a phase, and the rest of us know exactly what's. There's a path to be taken for everybody. Everybody's path is different, but there's a path to be taken to getting where you're comfortable with yourself.
Did you have a role model though, like someone that inspired you
That
to
was
do
so
what you
funny.
do?
Yes, his name was Quentin Crisp. He is one of, I'm sure he's long dead. He was this fucking PBS drag queen, old queen. Ass combs. He was so British. And there was a PBS special about him. And I said, Mama, I'm like him. Second therapy session. Anyway, And if nothing else, my parents were consistent. When every time I brought something to them, they said, "Hey, here's another therapist for you," because neither of my parents really knew what to do. The shame is at that time you didn't shop for a therapist. We lived in a relatively small city right outside of Los Angeles, and in the high desert, and so you kind of saw who you could. I'm thinking maybe when I was growing up, there were maybe 4 therapists in the entire valley. So she took me to the one, I guess, that could probably get us on a Saturday. Here's an interesting thing. The therapist said, they had a sandbox. Fucking fascinating. Sandbox, big sandbox. Therapist says, do something. Oh, this coffee's killing me and lipstick sucks. Do something. Want to know what I did? I made a wedding. Parents falling to pieces, hated each other and fighting every day. And I made a perfect little wedding procession. Just so you know, my kindergarten teacher sent notification home to my mother that I was having gender dysphoria. Hello. 5 years, and then 6 years I said something to her, and then at 13, over and over and over, but I wasn't being heard, and I was being told, oh, this is something that you can get over and live with, and my mother continuously saying, I don't know that any of that matters. You just be yourself and be happy. Okay. But the gender dysphoria goes like this. In the kindergarten class, there was one side that was a kitchen, one side that was a living room, and a box full of clothes. And I put on girl clothes and a wig and went cooking every single time. I never put a tie on. I never put a pipe in my mouth and went and sat in the living room. Mind you, this is coming right out of the 50s. So this classroom was like probably from the late 50s. So you had the Donna Reed setup where you had a living room with a couch and you had a kitchen with fake food and the kids played appropriately. So my mom getting this note that I was gender dysphoric when I was 5 really speaks to that teacher at that time, knowing, probably even fucking knowing the words. Mm-hmm. But her name was Mrs. Bryant, and she was a really great woman. Because if she saw it in me, she saw it in others, and hopefully she brought it to the attention of somebody's parents who didn't just send them to a therapist. Yeah. I'm good with myself, y'all. See this makeup, see this body? Oh, I'm so good with this. Now. Not growing up. I was super weird. I'm trying to be gay and go to bathhouses and go to glory holes, and I fucking hated it. There was no intimacy. There was no faces. There was no getting to know your partners. It was just a whirl of dark room sex, and it was like, yeah, that's really not working for me. I consider a cis female, but I've been signing this somewhere.
We were joking that you were like a butch lesbian trapped in a man's body.
All of my lesbian girlfriends swear that I'm a butch lesbian because that two-sided part of me, I grew up being butch. I was in Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, and we lived on a small farm, and I learned how to drive a truck, and I learned how to drive 18-wheelers, and I learned how to do farming stuff, and I learned how to fucking take care of myself. And none of my friends know how to take care of themselves, except my lesbians. And they're the ones that followed dad around, as it were, maybe the butch mom, sometimes that's the way the case, and learned everything that they needed to learn for when they were an adult. Mm-hmm. And that's where people always say, you're such a butch lesbian. I'm like, thanks. As long as I'm a lesbian, that means I'm a girl to start off with, and I'm cool with that.
Yes. Well, did you guys notice her nails?
And I wear these all the time. They're not press-ons. This is signature. Watch this. I'm bald. I have no problem making the wig off. Believe me, it's a standard in the comedy world. But when I run around with no makeup, bald, facial hair, and nails, the world does not know what the fuck to do with themselves. I mean, I've actually had a conversation with a manager at McDonald's where I was like, my experience here was fucking wonderful. Till the girl saw my nails. And then she fucked up my entire order because she couldn't stop staring at my nails. They're just nails. They're not spiky nails. They're not colored nails. They're just nails, and I have worn them for 15 years. So people who, transgenders every shade. transgender is however much acceptance you can put into yourself or cannot put into yourself. Like I said, those $150,000 girls, they're friends of mine. I don't judge them. I think to myself, $150,000 and your face still looks like that. Still a judgy cunt, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just no question about it, because I mean, one of them, like, how can you have that much work from here down and do nothing to feminize your face, except for like a little brow? Anyways, you know what I mean? There's money to be spent, let's do it in the right places, yes.
Let me know if this is like too personal. But
No.
You talked about, okay. You talked about like, you know, dysphoria, and a lot of the trans folks I know, especially trans women, have a very big dysphoria regarding their genitalia. And how do you deal with that, especially during sex? Like, what if, you know, people play with your genitalia during sex? Like, is that dysphoric to you?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not something that I relish, you know what I mean? I'm not embarrassed by it. There's my mom, I can hear, again, you are you, honey. Just be happy with what you got and what God gave you. I'm not putting that out there, but that was her words. And I think it sunk in. And so in the trans world, some guys just want to fuck you up the ass. They don't give a fuck about it. They want us to stick their dick in your mouth, pull it out and shove it right up your ass. They're not interested in touching your wiener. And in many cases, those tranny chasers, that's what we call them, who are interested, they call it our lady clit. They rarely call it our cock or our dick. They won't even refer to it. They'll call it our lady button or our lady clit. And mine's okay. I have the biggest clitoris in Las Vegas, my dear. I mean, it's like literally maybe 3 or 4. I have a very small dick with a huge clit. And a drawer full of vibrators, just so everybody's very clear. Any other questions?
We got like 10 minutes. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Okay, where do you get your eyelashes?
These are known as 301Cs, 301s. And you can get them online, you just have to look for them. And they're really draggy. They're longer than any genetic female would ever generally be able to wear. The facial structure, watch this. See where I've darkened it in right here and I've made it look
It turned itself off. It's fine.
where it's much darker here, so I'm trying to make my face smaller. It's because I have a male face, so I'm trying to make all of my features look a little bit smaller. And these are huge, so it makes everything else around them appear a little bit smaller. I don't know a genetic female that could wear these. I don't. Maybe Anna Nicole when she was alive. Well, what's the other one? She was a playmate. A lot. She was a playmate a lot. Oh, I can't think of her name.
Pamela Anderson?
Yeah. Pamela, when she was doing that, was she a superhero?
Baywatch.
No, superhero. She did like a superhero thing for a little while. Lashes out to here.
Oh yeah, she was in the show.
Yeah, otherwise no genetic female could probably wear them, but you can get them anywhere. Which one's the truth? Black beauty supply stores.
Because I'm seeing that's the thing now for women to wear that.
Absolutely, no question. Well, we're going back to this. Everything comes in waves. So welcome back to the 60s. A heavy line, a lash.
Okay.
Talk to
So,
me.
a wonderful tip. Wish.com for wigs. I've gotten a very cute wig. It's fully human hair.
Yeah,
$5. You just have to be willing to wait a whole month to get them.
Absolutely.
Also, they have lashes like out to here.
absolutely. You know, that's the thing is that I love thrift storing.
I do too.
And I've been doing it a really long time, and I've managed to decorate my entire home, my entire backyard, and I have 5 closets worth of clothes that are my size and perfect, and nothing's ripped, and everything's clean and covered in stones. And I probably have 50 pairs of heels. I have arthritis and gout in my legs. As I said, I'm 53. So as I'm getting older, the gout in my feet says, "Fuck off, you fat old man. You're not walking in heels today." And so in many cases, like I showed you my little ballet flats, it's all about the ballet flat. And I have worn stripper heels most of my career. The 12-inch stripper heels, I even have a pair at home. Just stare at them.
They're
There's
art.
a little drag tear coming You know, my doctor, I have a great doctor, gay doctor, he said, you're so fat, just lose 50 pounds, you'll be fine. And at least he's honest. He's a good friend of mine, you know, and he's like, if you want to walk in heels, lose 50 pounds, you heifer. So I was like, shit, I don't really want to do that. You know, I lost 165 pounds. One of my favorite things on stage is this, watch. I got real weight. This isn't chicken wings, this is way more than that. That's losing 165 pounds.
Really?
So, yeah. So I've got the muscle, but it doesn't bounce as much. Only like that, it does what it wants to. And I got a lot of that. Everywhere. Don't have $100,000 to have the surgery. My mom's words rang true. You need to accept yourself. I got out of the shower one day, and there was a mirror, and I wasn't paying attention to as low as the mirror was. And I was really coming at it. I mean, I was just, you know, just, and I was really just, and I caught myself in the mirror. I didn't know all my fat things could go in those different directions, and I just stood there and laughed my ass off. The next person who I had to get naked in front of, I got naked in front of them and thought to myself, if they can handle this, then we're all good. And I'll know immediately. Because as somebody who's been morbidly obese and still is not skinny, I've gotten naked and had men tell me, get the fuck out, you fat whore.
Ooh.
And it's like, motherfucker, you know how fucking fat I was when you met me in the fucking club.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, this girdle's only holding a little back. It's not holding 2.5 tons back. So when I got naked, it was like, yeah, get the fuck out. I was like, okay. Character building. He was a dick.
No, you don't want to. You don't have sex with those people, honey. Just don't.
Like all in life, you end up in places you probably should not have been, and that was one of them. And I learned my lesson. Believe me, if they don't want me, I don't want them.
There you go. It's a wonderful thing.
You were talking about how you contour to make things look bigger, to make things look smaller. Is there anything else you do? Like to...
I contour the top of my penis to make it look a little larger. I love the way he was like. I can do that. This is all. Wait. Titties! Anybody want a titty fuck them? They're dishwasher safe. You can just go crazy on them. And that's just contouring.
Oh, yes.
But God gave me a little boobie of my own. I call them man boobs. And they work really, really well. But that's all contouring. And it just helps to make it, thank God, just to keep it looking real, you know what I mean? Because most of the time, and a lot of the girls I know, especially the transgender girls, in their minds they'd like to pretend that they're a woman. Like, I'm a beautiful butterfly. No, dude, you're not. You hear that? No, dude, you're not. You need a little more than a lash and a little lipstick. You have a manly jaw. You have an Adam's apple. You have a this. You have a that. There's a makeup for everything. There's a makeup way of making something bigger or smaller for everything. And the girls that run around, Willow loves it when I say this. When a transgender female is coming out, she thinks of the strongest, in her mind, she's thinking of the strongest female that she's ever known. Rarely, if ever, are the strongest the most beautiful. Rarely. So they'll come out, and you look a little bit like your Aunt Trudy, or a nun. You know what I mean? Like you don't get the wigs, and you don't get the contouring, and you don't get this, and you don't get that. And then you either get better at it, or you accept yourself that way. And in my world, we see them all the time. They come in the bar every weekend. There's 4 or 5 of them, and they come in sensible heels, black, pencil skirt, black, white grandma roughly kind of a front ruffle shirt, really shiny wig. They comb it, part it like they did when they were a 14-year-old boy, and throw some lipstick on and go out. And I can't. I'm not mad at them. All I want to do is rush over them and be like, but there again, these are people who are even older than I am, and I had to learn. This is what I learned before YouTube. Whoa! You want to learn how to do makeup and stuff? YouTube. I learned how to do gore makeup in 4 minutes from an 8-year-old girl. I was like, shut the fuck up, that's it? And I did my arm, just exactly how she said, and I posted pictures. I had family calling me from Europe asking me what happened. Even though it said hashtag Halloween, hashtag gore makeup, people calling me going, oh my God, what happened to your arm? Nothing.
Do you find, cause I have a lot of trans friends, and do you find there's animosity between like other trans women because you do drag?
Yes.
Cause I like a lot of them, they just wanna make that like distinct, like I'm away from it, and.
So here's a conversation, it's a Facebook conversation that happened in the last couple of weeks. One of my friends is the show host at Flex. And one of the girls here in town, and she's a trans girl, her name is Kitty, we're gonna go Kitty. Kitty posted, I don't know why these drag queens keep putting themselves out there as T-girls. Bitch, back off of my man. And Alex, who's a drag queen and a gay man, period, no trans, none, put out there, well, that's fucking rude. That's just ridiculous. So by that course, I shouldn't fucking book you in my show because you're a real one. Oh, the firestorm that went from there was ridiculous. And Katana was so fucking butthurt. But Katana felt that drag started in the 1960s with the stuff that was happening in and around. That's when she thought, that's a 22, I swear it's not cocaine, it's sugar in the coffee. Nothing against young people, but you really need to go back in a couple of millennia to kind of catch where drag started from and the roots and the reasons and the logic of it, and then you can probably start to talk shit. But I do feel the animosity, and here's the thing. There are 2 bars here in town that are specific to trans women. We call them prostitution bars. Often, a transgender female can't keep her day job and can't get a night job. They become sex workers. It is what it is. They can pass, oh, I'm a lot prettier in the nighttime, trust me. With this same makeup on, oh, I'm stunning. But they can't pass, and so they often turn to prostitution. And both of those bars have shows. So I said to Katana, go work at those bars. Those are prostitution bars. Alex was right. I'm trans and I do drag, and I don't care what people think. Katana was really butthurt because she put this out. Why do drag queens keep going after my men who like transgender females? Because she was pretty, because she was available, because he was drunk, because he was horny, because she, I mean, there's a whole list of, you know, having sex with somebody is like, how much alcohol and how much drugs, and how horny am I, and how horny are they, and how dark is it in this bar, and how far is it to the, there's a whole list of things. How far is it to the car is my favorite one. We can start having sex behind the dumpster if we have to.
She's such a classy
It would
girl.
be the first time, you know what I mean?
You're so classy.
And then how do those look?
You look beautiful still. You look beautiful.
I hate it.
You look beautiful.
They're sticky. Yeah.
How did you get into comedy? Like, what made you want to be a comedian, and how'd you break
Tragedy, of course, you know what I mean? My mother slapped me across the face so fucking many times as a child and said, that's not appropriate. And that's a comedian. You know what I mean? I don't remember when it was. I mean, one of my friends probably said, you should get up on stage and do comedy, and I did. And I was funny as fuck. I'm just funny as fuck. I'm filthy and I'm dirty, and I talk about dirty pussy and sucking dick and life's little. I'll eat a pussy, watch. I'll come close to it, but I mean, the fish oil really ruins my makeup. Thank you and good night. And so that's the thing. The funny thing is, when I'm in makeup, I can say anything, and I've done it out of makeup, and it doesn't play as well, of course.
You would not recognize her without her makeup and her hair on walking down the street. If she walked into this class in her not drag look, you would not know it is her.
Other than the fact that I have a bald head, and that's about the only determining factor, I can still go out any weekend to any of the drag bars as a boy. And nobody has a fucking clue who I am. If I open my mouth, it's over with. My voice is so distinct. I've had people, there's a little restaurant here in town. There's one in Henderson and one here. We were at the one in Henderson, and we were coming out after lunch. And this gentleman came behind me and said, "Excuse me, are you Tawdri Hipburn?" I went, "Yes, I am. How could you tell?" And he goes, "Oh, your voice is very, very distinctive." I went, "Okay." I'll have to be a little mindful of that, you know what I mean, and be a little quieter when I'm having lunch. But for those who know Jimmy Emerson, who's another performer here in the city, Jimmy and I could be twins when we're out of makeup. We're both two older, heavy-set, bald-headed, no hair, no eyebrow, cancer of the eyebrows, looking kind of guys. I look like Uncle Fester.
You're a little better looking than Uncle
When I'm
Fester.
taking my makeup off at night and there's the tremendous amount of black, if I don't take it off, I walk out, Willow will almost piss himself. Because I've got this solid black, I'm bald. I look like Uncle Fester.
That's beautiful.
Any questions?
Any last question? Anyone want the last question? What's
It's
up?
the old-fashioned stuff that you find at Walmart, Walgreens, at the bottom shelf, way off to the left, and it's the stuff your grandma used to use. Remember how pretty your grandma's skin used to look? Yeah, it was a fucking mess, but it looked great because of this powder. And my shit won't go anywhere. It will not. So my lipstick won't kiss off, my eyebrows don't disappear, my makeup doesn't rub off at all. Once you get used to makeup and you get used to putting it on and knowing how to do it. So for instance, my lips are eyeliner and powder. There's no lipstick. The only reason they're even remotely sticky is because of this stupid stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
that's, I think, you want,
I kind of forgot. Where can we watch your shows?
So you can follow me on Facebook. That's usually the best way to do it. And I'm the only Tawdri. It's Tawdri. Tawdri.
I read them in work, you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one on Facebook. I'm the only one out of billions and billions. There's a Tawdri Minx, but her name is spelled differently. And you can always follow my career there that way. And I always post where I'm going to be. Almost all the clubs are over 21 clubs. The sex clubs are something different. They're usually over 18, but you know, I can't believe that's one of the first places you saw me. Wow. I did a solid year at that club. Talk about rough.
Yeah.
Talk about
Doing
trying to
comedy
do
at a
fucking
sex
stand
club.
up, and people are like, I can't wait to fuck. Oh my god, it's so fucking horny. I can't wait to fuck. And you're like, and imagine the traffic on the way today. They were not having it. So we really had to go up my fucking dirty game for those pervs. Bless their souls.
Well, round of applause for Miss Tawdri Hipburn.
Round of applause.
You
Thank you.